I'm joined by Anthony Greene right now. You may know him as Alternative AG or August Gray if you remember him from his time in WWE. But you're coming to MLW. There was a big announcement earlier this week that you are part of the Battle Riot 7 going down in Los Angeles in April. Uh, Tell me about what you hope to accomplish coming to MLW, how it happened. Just talk to us about the upcoming debut.
I have been with Pro Wrestling Noah for the last like 2+ years, and finally in December my contract expired, and I was ready to move on and try something in the United States and hopefully get seen on a national level. So the first thing I did was I think I landed on a Sunday or a Monday back in the U.S., and then that Thursday I drove to New York City to meet with Court Bauer and MSL just to show face
Hmm.
at their event in New York. And that conversation got us moving. We've had previous conversations, but nothing ever really like panned out until now. And talking to them, they asked me if I was available for the April 5th event for Battle Riot. No questions asked. Of course, I was. Didn't matter what I had going on. I was going to make sure I was free for that day. And that's kind of how it all started. When it comes to what I look to do, one, I've said this in other interviews already, but there's going to be 40 people fighting for the championship in this match. I'm one of 40 of them, so I have just as good of odds as anybody else. I think the only person that has bad odds in this match is Matt Riddle because he's coming in as champion and defending it. So it's really 1 versus 39 in that situation. But if anything at all, I hope to make, as generic as it sounds, I hope to make a name for myself in this match and have the opportunity to come back to MLW in the future and become a regular roster member for Major League Wrestling.
When I heard your name announced, I was excited because like I'm a fan of your work, but also I don't know if this is like talked about or it's just me, but it feels like there's like definitely a link between MLW and like some of the New England talent. Like, because I think the first time I spoke with you, it was for like Limitless Wrestling, or
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
either Limitless or Chaotic. But you think of like Ace Romero's another name that came from there. There's been names over the years that kind of have that be the introduction, coming from New England. Has that ever come up, or was it just, individually like they wanted to work with you and it just was the right time now?
I think New England is the heartbeat for every major wrestling company in the United States. MLW being one of them. If like you said, a lot of the guys that have been signed with the company, or a lot of the wrestlers that have worked with the company over the years, Ace Romero, Richard Holiday, Becca, Ichiban, Love Doug, BRG, Donovan Dijak, all seven of those people have come from the New England. Delmy Exo is another
I was
one.
going to say
The
the Sea
women's
Stars
champion.
too.
All have come from the New England area, and yeah, so I think it could be a mix of the connection of MLW to New England. It could just be that I personally think New England puts out the best professional wrestling in the United States, and everyone wants to kind of latch onto us and grab our talent. Um, so I think everything was kind of right place, right time. I don't think the timing was right before when we talked in 2021 or 2022, especially when I started touring with Noah regularly. And, you could call it luck, but they say luck is when preparation and opportunity meet each other. So I think this was my lucky moment to
Hmm.
show what I offer for MLW.
Yeah. Uh, I know tribalism on like the larger scale is like kind of an ugly thing, but I think on a regional level, it's more fun
Yeah.
because you obviously, you have a lot of love for New England, obviously wearing the shirt. You hear about like West Coast and then Ohio has the best wrestlers. It's kind of fun hearing that aspect because it's a little more subjective and a little bit, you know, people aren't as angry as they are when it's like,
I, I think it's I think it's like a healthy competition. I
yeah.
think the West Coast guys want to be better than New England. New England want to be better than the Midwest or better than the South. So it's a friendly competition, especially when we're all on that same independent wrestling level, trying to get to the same place.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to put it. Healthy
Yes.
competition. You mentioned, spending a lot of time in pro wrestling, Noah. That was really cool to see you kind of break out over there. Uh, Held the GHC tag team titles one time, uh, but obviously a lot of time spent over there, long tours. What has that experience, kind of building your resume internationally, done for you moving forward?
So the wrestling in Japan is completely different than wrestling in America. So I think it helped me become a better wrestler because I had to adapt to a different style without changing my style. Um, I went in there as the same wrestler. I never changed what I did. I just had to adapt to what they were doing, if that makes sense. And
Mhm.
I think overall, just like the schedule, wrestling new people constantly, wrestling in front of different audiences, and then on top of the wrestling, just the culture of everything. Um, just it how do I say, it's just a completely different way of life, and you kind of have to learn how to be lonely while not being alone, because my first few tours, I was in the dojo living with other people, but a lot of the times, like, you miss your family, you miss your regular everyday, all right, I like to go to this gym, I like to get breakfast at this place, and all that's completely gone, and you kind of have to make a new ritual and a new schedule. All right, now my schedule is, all right, I wake up in the morning, I go to the supermarket and I eat my breakfast there. And then, all right, I go to the dojo and then I go on a 30-minute walk. All right, then I'll go to Starbucks. And you just kind of like get into a routine, I guess. And it's a completely different routine than you do in America. And I always like make the joke that I was living two different lives. Because when I was in America, I had my American friends and I would talk to my foreign friends every day, but I would do my American schedule. And then when I'm in Japan, I'm with them every day, but I'm talking to my American friends in my group chats, but I'm doing my Japanese schedule. And it's kind of like a mind F in a way,
Mhm.
because you're just on the go all the time. And there are times where I would do a 1 month tour, like this past tour I did was 1 month, and I finally fixed my sleep schedule in Japan, and then I come back and immediately my sleep schedule has changed again,
Yeah.
and it takes weeks to get it back to normal. And then I just was in India, so my schedule got all messed up even more. And
Mhm.
even right now, like, I'm waking up middle of the night at like 3 a.m. Like, oh, what am I doing? Looking up at the ceiling.
Uh, I I completely understand how important getting on a sleep cycle is. What it like I saw you went to India. What was that experience like? Because obviously uh it's a little bit more of an unproven region as far as pro wrestling is concerned. I know there's a lot of effort to build up the territories. I've spoken to Ricardo Rodriguez before. He's another name uh, that has not only gone over there, but has been associated with MLW recently.
Mhm.
Uh, what's that experience like for you going, you're used to wrestling in America, then you're obviously talking about getting used to the Japan style, and then this is kind of like sort of an unproven region in a way.
So it's funny you use the word unproven, because I have to say this group of wrestlers that I worked with last week are full of untapped potential. Legitimately, as good as some of the best independent wrestlers in the United States that are unsigned. Um, their level of training is incredible, athleticism, their willingness to learn. I can't go into too much detail on what it is yet, but you guys can check it out. It's called WXM, Wrestling Extreme Mania. Um, we filmed 8 weeks of television. Uh, Genuinely, some really good TV was produced, I believe. The crowds were incredible, very engaging audience. I wasn't sure what to. I was not sure what to expect from the wrestling or the audience or production wise, but it was up there with top level TV pro wrestling, easily.
What if you don't mind me asking, what part can't you get into? and I can cut around this if I have to.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm like they're working on like what they're working on exactly, like when it comes to TV or when it will air or who's involved. I just can't
Okay.
fully get into that yet. If you go on their social media, they're slowly teasing things though now.
Okay.
So if any information I'm afraid to give is probably likely available right now anyway.
All right, and it's WXM Wrestling Extreme Mania.
Correct.
All right,
Yes.
cool. Be on the lookout for that. Had a couple more questions for you. I did want to talk a little bit about your time in WWE. You were known as August Gray. I think it was about 8 or 9 months there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird period for talent and fans because you see like an influx of all these new names. I know like Blake Christian was another one that kind of was in that mix. It seemed like there was a lot of effort being put into 205 Live, but then the pandemic causes a lot of stuff to be shifted. People get released.
Mhm.
Uh, any fond memories about that time, even though it was brief, something that you maybe still carry with you as far as it preparing you to be a TV wrestler or something that kind of aided you after you left?
Yeah, so I don't really have any negative memories there. It is the Harvard of pro wrestling training. I feel like if you go there and you don't learn something, that's 100% your fault. I got to train under Scotty Tuhati, Brian Kendrick, Sanjay Dutt, and Ace Steele. Those were my main four coaches while I was there. I also felt like I was mentored by actually a former MLW champion, Steve Carino, was probably my main mentor. And then in ring, I would say my two mentors were Arya Davari and Tony Nese. So going back to what got me ready to be a TV wrestler, it was wrestling those two guys every week because those were guys that were under pressure, wrestling on Monday Night Raw, live TV, guys that wrestled on pay-per-views. Tony Nese won the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania. And they kind of taught me about timing and replays and crash to break and how to do X, Y, and Z, and just really got me prepared for if and when my time on NXT was meant to happen, or if my call up to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown were meant to happen. Wrestling them on a taped 205 Live got me comfortable and got me prepared for whatever would have came next.
Uh, Obviously, I want to bring it around full circle. We started talking about MLW Battle Riot.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a match or moment that you've had that you think is a good, like maybe you think it's a good introduction to MLW fans of your work, or maybe just a reminder if they haven't like gotten a chance to see you in Japan, you have one in mind that you'd be like, all right, this is the best representation of my work, or this is one that I'm especially proud of.
Yes, it's actually free on YouTube on Pro Wrestling Noah's English YouTube channel. It was our second GHC heavyweight tag team title defense from Cork and Hall, November 2023. It is myself and Jack Morris, the good looking guys, and we go up against Daiki Anaba and Masa Kitamiya. Like I said, that's free on YouTube. I personally think that was we had 8 successful defenses. If that's not one of the best, that is the best defense that we did. It's like a 20-minute match. We go absolutely nuts in front of a sold out Corrigan Hall co-main event. If there's any match, it would be myself and Jack Morris against Anaba and Kitamiya.
And free on YouTube always helps.
Yeah,
I've done this watch list feature for, I don't know, it's been like 5 years now, and sometimes it's like really, really hard to find a match if
yeah.
it's like paywalled. So that's here's another full circle. This is why I love Limitless so much because they put so much on YouTube that I'm like, oh, I can grab this. I can share it with people.
Yeah, well now they have they're putting full shows up live on YouTube,
Yeah.
which I think has been I think they've been doing that since I want to say like December-ish or January. They've been streaming both on IWTV and on YouTube at the exact same time live. So then the YouTube stream is automatically available for you right after the show's over.
So there you go. New England and Limitless making a more of a case for being the best region for wrestling. So
Come at us, Ohio.
all right. MLW Battle Riots April 5th. Anything else you want to plug or promote before we close this out?
Yeah, so the tickets were sold out, so they had to move venues. A new wave of tickets went on sale yesterday. They are available at mlwla.com. Other than that, please follow me on social media. I'm on X at alternative underscore AG, and I'm on Instagram at the alternative AG. Plus, I also have a YouTube channel where I vlog my wrestling life from Japan. I've filmed stuff in India. Hopefully, I get to film some stuff from MLW. So check out my YouTube channel as well.
All right. Anthony Greene, thanks for the time, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.